When we look at the song Oceans, there's several chords that may be familiar to us, but one thing we have to keep in mind as we learn these is how we voice them is really going to make a difference in the sound, especially with our intro and our verses. So we're going to take some time to really kind of hammer that out and make a good tone, good sound with what we're playing. So key of D, let's start going through our chords and making sure we're familiar with those. We're going to be starting with that root 1 chord of D, and so D, F sharp, A together is going to give you D major. And we're going to have a slash chord with that later on in the song where we have a D chord over an F sharp. D over F sharp. That will take place within the song. And then we'll also have an E minor chord. So E minor is going to be E, G, and B. And that takes place within the bridge. E minor, we'll need that chord as well. And then we have G major, so that starts on G, B, and D. There's our chord for that. Also A major. A major happens with A, C sharp, and E. So there's our A major. Now, just like we did with the D, we also have a slash chord with the A that we'll play at times, and that is A over C sharp. So A chord in your right hand over a C sharp, bass note, action right there. And then that takes care of most of the chords except for the B minor, which a lot of this song centers around a minor tonality, meaning we play this chord right here, B minor, B, D, and F sharp quite frequently, okay? And as a B minor 7 also within many places that we have B minor, D, F sharp, and also an A note as well. And however you arrange that or invert that, maybe you play with the 7th, that A down below with the root position B minor look right there. All right, so there are our chords that we'll use for the song. And now when it comes to where we're going to place our hands and voice them out, we're going to start with a B minor, especially in the intro right here. First chord of the song, and we're going to play it in a second inversion. So here's your root position, first. Second means that F sharp is going to be our lowest note. We're just down an octave from what I just played here. F sharp, B, and D, and then with a B bass note right there. And then it goes immediately to an A over C sharp. So what I would do is then, if you're playing with the first, third, and fifth fingers on that B minor, is to play, obviously just moving up your bass notes down here, but stretch your thumb down for that A second inversion chord right there. So you're playing notes that are all just going down a step here, and E, A, C sharp is kind of the voicing and arrangement that works pretty well in this right here. So while your left hand is going up notes, your right hand is going to be moving downwards. And then you've got a D, which really keeping that second finger on the A helps you just anchor in playing a D first inversion chord right there. So I'm playing the D with the bass note, and then F sharp, A, and D. Okay, so that little riff right there, repeated idea, B minor, and then A over C sharp, and then you lift a little bit more fingers to get to the D. Make sure that you practice that to be smooth, going from those chords one to another. You don't want it to be disjointed. Your pedal can help with this a little bit, but it is a lot of the work that your fingers need to do, especially with that. So that is really where we kind of center around with our verse and our chorus. And then when we get to the bridge, we're going to actually start up on a B minor in a root position for that bridge. So it kind of lifts up the sound a little bit to start on a B minor. And then we are playing a G after that. So B minor, and you're playing 2 notes already of your G chord. G, B, and D is what's needed. So let's put the G up top right there. So from a B minor, I will play that with a first, second, and fourth finger. Then I've got a fifth finger that's free just to walk right up to a G chord. And then I can use that second finger as a pivot note for my next D chord, D, and play that as a second inversion. Works quite nicely. A, D, F sharp. And then for your A, you kind of just using free fingers to get to the A notes of A, C sharp, E. All right, so the only one that you kind of have to reach for out of that chord progression within the bridges, because there's really 3 variations of that, bridge 1, 2, and 3, is that E minor, and go down to a first inversion E minor down below for that. So G, B, and E. All right, so though you're playing up here, like a B minor, a G, a D there, and then reach down to that E minor rather than playing it like in a root position up high. That'll get you around what you need to navigate with the song and moving some of these voicings. But really important is starting in that lower intro sound and using that within the verses. And you're going to be able to create a great sound within the song.